Hello, hello. This is Noah and Asco, President Foxman online. And I just wanted to give some thoughts about the Northwest 2024 Estuary Conference. Um, I want to start out by saying thank you to Nate and his family. Just the amazing work that they all did, and Jess as well, and his wife, for putting it all on. It was incredible. Um, I assume that most people who are going to be listening are people who have already know about this or have been here, so I'm not going to go into explaining what this event was, but things that defined it for me were immense openness and willingness to be vulnerable, to share things that you wouldn't feel necessarily comfortable sharing online, deep struggles and um, yeah, and factors of our stories. And so, uh, there's a lot of that. I'm losing words. And with that, I don't know. I feel like I've made so many more friends that it just exploded. Right? It was. I would be walking around the conference and I would just see all these people who I'm like, I could spend hours talking to each of these people, and I don't even have that much time. And so, how do I even manage this? It just felt like overwhelming, partially. But it was also someplace that I felt really loved. I felt like this was a place that I was safe. That I didn't worry about what people thought about me too much, right? I think there's always that in the back of my head, but this is like the most comfortable I've ever felt in a crowd setting in a long, long, long time. And with that, I don't know. I have a few memories that have stuck right around the campfire, and seeing all these young men here who, I don't know, I'm able to relate to them. Like we're I don't know. I have not been able to connect with people my age very often and in a close way, and so to have these guys who are also willing to engage and talk about these things was incredible. I think about sitting at the dining room table of a restaurant and looking down and seeing all these smiling faces, and a recognition that it's not going to last forever. That it's almost over, actually, and a deep sadness that comes with that. And what I reflected on the entire way home and the last few days is how am I going to even 1% bring about something as good as this in my life on a regular basis, right? I want something that's sustainable, that I can have in meat space, as we call it. And maybe that's estuary, and maybe that's just something that changes in my church, or I have no clue. And so, to a certain extent, there's a sadness. I cried on the way home, partially by the sadness of losing something, the beauty of seeing, or the experience of seeing something so beautiful. Here, let me pull up some lyrics to a song. One song that came to mind was this the song called Brompton Oratory, and the lyrics of the song have a section. Actually, it's pretty short. I can read it. This kind of felt like the image of this last weekend. Up those stone steps I climb, hail this joyful day's return. Into its great shadowed vault I go, hail the Pentecostal morn. The reading is from Luke 24, where Christ returns to his loved ones. I look at the stone apostles, think that's all right for some. And I wish that I was made of stone, so that I would not have to see a beauty impossible to define, a beauty impossible to believe, a beauty impossible to endure, the blood imparted in little sips, the smell of you still on my hands as I bring the cup up to my lips. No God up in the sky, no devil beneath the sea could do the job that you did of bringing me to my knees. Outside I sit on the stone steps with nothing much to do, forlorn and exhausted, baby, by the absence of you. And I think the line that hits me, right, is I wish that I was made of stone so I would not have to see. A beauty impossible to define, a beauty impossible to believe. There was something like, the temporariness of the beauty, how it sits only for a few seconds, and this recognition that like, can I ever see that again? Man, this is gonna get weirdly personal. One thing that I talked about with my wife really early on was like, I'm smiling a lot. I never smile in my regular life that often. And it was like this weird recognition of like, I'm really happy. And I'm not often actively happy or excited. I'm pretty, I feel like I'm pretty neutral to low. And I don't know, there's something going on there. That was one part. And the feeling of being loved was also a huge deal. As much, how do I say this? My wedding day, I've told this to my wife already, so I'm not telling a tale out of school or whatever. My wedding day was the happiest day of my life. But despite all the people I invited to my wedding, there are a lot of people who were really there who loved me and loved my wife and loved us. But I felt probably more loved by the people at Northwestuary, like as a whole, right? Taking the ups and downs, right? The average or whatever, that feeling felt higher there. And that was something that was incredible to see. And so I come to the conclusion while I'm writing, like, man, I wish church was like this. Like, I wish that I was able to find some sort of way to connect like this regularly. And so that's my goal. My goal is to work on this, to find a way to, in my local community, find relationships this deep. And just like Nick Cave talks about in the song, he almost regrets ever being able to see the beauty. But in the end, it's what brings him to his knees. I think that's part of it too, right? It's what brings him into obedience, into structure, into changing his life. And I can't thank any of you enough. There's so many names, and I'm afraid to name anymore because I know I'm going to miss someone. So thank you all. And I don't think any of you, even after this, will truly realize the effect that this all had on me, and just how much you've touched my heart. So thank you. Yeah. What else? I think that might be it. I love you all. I hope, if you feel the same way as me, that you have some hope that there will be a beauty to come, and that, maybe that looks like cultivating a garden. Oh, one more thing. Another thing I kind of came to think about, because I thought about a few things, right? The community, looking forward to the community and seeing something beautiful and desiring that, and same thing with friendship. The other thing that I noticed was mentorship. Being around older folks who I really admire, older folks being generally older than me, by the way, so it's not like, it's a broad category. It made me realize that I had a deep desire for mentorship. So what does that look like? And so I was having this conversation yesterday on the Discord, and I don't know what that looks like. And so I am still processing through that. What does it mean to find a mentor, and how do you do it in a way that's not going to scare someone off? And so if anyone has any advice on that, feel free to tell me. I have a feeling, and I've been learning this, is that when you ask people for advice, if it's good advice, you already know the answer. So maybe you'll just match whatever I'm feeling is probably the right answer. But I love to hear it. And if anybody wants to talk any more about any of this, let me know. Maybe down in the comments, and we can connect and recorded or not, we can have conversations. Keep that line of communication open. I kind of fake ended already, so I'm probably going to end here. Thank you so much, and I hope you have an amazing day.